City. We're at Engine Company 48, Ladder Company 56. There were men that served at this firehouse on September 11, 2001 that didn't make it and didn't survive. We're going to be talking with someone shortly who serves here now and was at Ground Zero and made it out. Hey, we're here with Deputy Chief Jay Jonas, New York City Fire Department. His responsibility is over 6 different fire battalions here in the city. But back on September 11, 2001, was Captain Jay Jonas of Ladder Company 6. Deputy Chief, thank you so much for taking this time to talk with us today.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit, 10 years, long time. I know it seems like it's going by quickly, we talked about earlier. Give us your recollection of that morning, if you would, please.
Well, it was a sharp contrast to the storm that came through the night before. It was raining very heavily that night, and the morning was a beautiful day. You know, it was the sky was scrubbed clean, and like a blue sky that would hurt your eyes to look at it. And just about 8:45 in the morning, we heard a jet fly across the sky, close, and we heard a loud boom. That was the sound of American Airlines Flight 11 striking the North Tower of the World Trade Center. And didn't know quite what that was when I heard the noise. And my house watchman yelled into the intercom that a plane had just crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. So I went running out to see what I could see, and I saw a large plume of smoke going across the sky. I says, all right, turn out both companies. We shared a firehouse with Engine 9, and both companies responded, and we headed to the World Trade Center. And couldn't believe what we were seeing. You know, we were seeing the North Tower of the World Trade Center with large gaping holes in it, and smoke and fire coming out under pressure.
So when we hear the term first responder,
yeah,
you guys were first responders to that.
Yeah, that's a term. That's a lazy term. I don't
Okay.
like first responder. You know, that's just so the news reporters didn't have to say firefighters and police officers and
Just groups everybody together in that way.
Yeah. But we were
You're certainly quick responders.
we were one of the first to arrive.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't the first. There's a firehouse across the street from the South Tower, Engine 10 and Ladder 10. They were the first ones there, and but we were one of the, you know, we were in the lobby of the North Tower when the second plane hit. We didn't know what it was, you know, because we could only see out at the ground level.
Lobby, right?
Yeah, we saw flaming debris falling. I saw a large black shadow on the ground, which was the plane coming in, and we heard the noise, but we didn't know what it was. And a man came running in from the outside. He said, a second plane has just hit the second tower. And that's when we knew, you know, all bets were off, that we were under attack. But it opened a whole other aspect to this. You know, who would have thought that we had 2 planes? Now is there going to be a third? Is there going to be a fourth? We didn't know. You know, so from this point forward, we didn't know if we were still going to be attacked. And I was surrounded by a bunch of firemen from Rescue 1 and a lieutenant from Engine 55. And one of the firemen from Rescue 1 looked up and he said, we may not live through today. And we looked up and we looked at him and he says, you know what? You're right. And we took the time to shake each other's hands and wish each other good luck. And I hope I see you later. And it's good to know you. And of all the guys I was surrounded by when the second plane hit, I'm the only one that's alive. They all died.
I mean, firefighters. My view of firefighters, you guys risk your lives pretty regularly. I mean, I think to run into a burning building there's a high risk level to begin with. What made that moment different than maybe any other time in your career?
Because it wasn't just the fire. We had targets on our backs. Somebody was aggressively trying to kill us. And we didn't know what the future had in store for us at that point. And I said, they're trying to kill us, boys. Let's go. And to their credit, they all said, "All right, Cap, we're with you." And we decided to start climbing the B stairway of the North Tower, which is in the geographic center of the building.
I'm assuming there's people coming down still the steps
yeah.
at that point?
Yeah.
A little crowded in the stairway?
There's only 3 stairways in the building. And they're barely wide enough for 2 people to pass each other in the stairway. Matter of fact, we were brushing shoulders as we passed. So there was a row of building occupants coming down the stairs, and there was a row of firemen climbing the stairs. They were very happy to see us, for a couple reasons. Some of them were injured coming down, and they were helping each other too, and which was gratifying to see. There was a true spirit of altruism within the building, and that wasn't just the firefighters and the police officers. It was the people in the building themselves. They were helping each other as well. But they were shouting out words of encouragement to us, and they were breaking into vending machines and giving us bottles of water.
Oh, wow. And
saying, "God bless you, firemen. Go get them, firemen. You deserve a raise." We like that one. And but they were happy to see us for 2 reasons. Number one, we were the cavalry. The cavalry was coming. So it's like, go get them. And also, they knew if we were climbing the stairs that there was a way out.
And what was it like inside the building? Where it was emergency lighting that had been illuminated? Was there a lot of smoke coming through the stairwell? Describe it.
No, it was pretty much the atmosphere we have right here.
Pretty clear. Okay.
It was pretty clear. Regular lighting was on. It wasn't emergency lighting. Okay. And occasionally you get a light haze of smoke, and you'd smell like kerosene-based jet fuel. But for the most part, if you took a snapshot in time, you would say, well, they're not in any danger at all. But your mind's eye had to kind of project what the danger was outside. And from looking at that scene on the way in, I had a pretty good idea what it looked like outside. So you couldn't get lulled into a false sense of security by saying, well, there's no smoke in here. So you almost had to, like I say, in your mind's eye, you had to really recognize the amount of danger that you were really in.
So you're making your way up the North Tower. You know planes have already hit. The South Tower was hit first.
Right.
Did that give you any sense
No,
of...
South Tower was hit second.
South Tower was hit second. Were you thinking at all that, these buildings might collapse at some point? Was that even a thought at that point?
As I was climbing the stairs, I remembered all this stuff from studying over the years, and all the mindless minutiae we had to study to get promoted. And I have 2 college degrees in fire science. But I was thinking of stuff like that. It's just, geez, I wonder how much time we had. And but it didn't matter at that point. We had to give it a shot. There were maybe thousands of people that needed our help.
Who could tell at that point, right? We didn't know how many people were in the
building. And that's why they pay us. That was our whole purpose for being there, was to help other people. We got to the 27th floor, and I turned around to count heads, and I only had 3 guys. And I said, stop, wait here, I'll go find the other 2. We stay together. And they got pushed aside a little bit, and they were 2 floors behind. And I found them, and by the time I brought them back up to the 27th floor, the other guys were taking a break. I said, all right, we'll take our break here, and next time we'll push on to 40, and we'll stick with our 10-floor plan. And it was at this point when our building started to shake, and it started to sway back and forth, and we heard a loud noise outside, and then the lights went out for about 30 seconds, and they came back on. And we didn't know what it was. And I told Billy, I says, Billy, you go check the south windows, I'll check the north windows, we'll come back and we'll compare notes. And I couldn't see anything. All I could see was white dust pressed against the glass. And Billy came back, and I anticipated him saying something like a piece of our building fell off because the shaking was so violent. And he looked at me with his head cocked a little bit, and he says, "The South Tower's just collapsed," knowing fully what those words meant, that maybe thousands of people just were killed, some of our friends as well. And this is the scary time for me. Because I knew through all my studies, I knew that prior to this day, a high-rise building had never collapsed before. And so, I started doing the math. I says, that building got hit after my building, and it's already down. We may not make it out of here. So I didn't wait for orders. I just grabbed my guys and says, all right, guys, if that one can go, this one can go. It's time for us to get out of here.
So you're pulling the plug at this point.
Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah, we're abandoning ship. We're going back. And it's funny. I thought I was quite clear on what I said, but they didn't hear my conversation with Captain Burke. And they were a little, what do you mean? We just climbed 27 floors with 100 pounds of gear on our back. We're going downstairs.
So they didn't realize the South Tower had collapsed at that point. Okay.
We knew something big happened, but we didn't know what it was. And so we started heading down the stairs. This was, like I said, this time frame from the time the South Tower collapsed until my building collapsed, that was the scariest part of the day for me. When even more scary than when my building collapsed. That was, I was actually at peace with that. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And but just the anticipation of something happening.
Because prior to that, you still had hope that you were going to complete your mission, you were going to get farther up and do your thing. And now the South Tower collapsing really changed everything at that point. That was the game changer, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, did Captain Burke stay with you, or did you guys get separated?
He was actually following us when we were going down the stairs, and he peeled off. I'm not sure what floor he peeled off on. But we were making actually pretty good time going down the stairs. And we got to around the 20th floor, and we saw a woman standing in a doorway. She was crying. And my guy stopped. And one of them looks at me, turns around, it's Tommy Falco. He turns around and looks at me and says, "Hey, Cap, what do you want to do with her?" And every fiber of my being was screaming, "Get out of this building. You don't have time. The clock is ticking. Every second that we waste is 1 second closer to us not getting out of here." But I looked at her.
She was injured.
Yeah, she wasn't walking well, and she had made it down from the 73rd floor with actually a coworker, but he left her, and we couldn't leave her. That's
what you guys are there for, right?
That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
That's what we do. It's our culture, and I said, bring her with us. So one of my guys, I told. It was Billy Butler. Says, take her on, put her around your shoulders. We'll carry your tools, and we stay together as a group. And we go down together as a group. What was once a normal gait going down the stairs is now very slow.
How far are you progressing at this point?
We're making our way down. Eventually, we make it down to the 4th floor. And she falls to the floor. And she starts yelling at us to leave her. And
how'd you feel about that?
Well, considering that we just put ourselves in imminent peril to save her, I wasn't very happy with Josephine at this point. And I said, well, we gotta figure out a way. And I thought if we could find a sturdy chair that we could put her on, with her in the chair, we could pick her up and run with her. So I broke into the 4th floor looking for such a chair, and it wasn't an office floor, it was a mechanical equipment room floor. I couldn't find a chair. And I was way on the other side of the building, And something just told me, says, you know what, this isn't working out. We're just going to have to drag her down the stairs. So I start running back to the stairway. And I get about 3 feet away from the stairway door, and the collapse starts with us still inside.
And what did you, when you say the collapse started, what were you experiencing at that point?
The floor started moving like it was ripples on a lake, and then started hearing and feeling tremendous vibration as the floors were hitting each other. And
It was unmistakable. You knew the building was collapsing.
Definitely. It was our building was collapsing. Yeah. And dove for finally got the stairway door open, and dove for the stairway. And one of my guys was waiting for me on the stairway, Matt Kamarowski, and the collapse created a strong wind. It was all the air in the building was being compressed, and that wind blew him down 2 flights of stairs. It picked him up, and he injured his ribs in the process. But this wind was also filled with debris, and we're getting whacked with debris as the building is starting to collapse further and further down. And at first it was distant, and it got louder, and the vibration was more violent the closer it got. And it was also this eerie sound of twisting steel all around us. So we just covered up as best we could, and waited for what seemed to be inevitable.
So you thought this was it?
Yeah. Ironically, my first thought was that I had failed my men, that I didn't get them out. And my second thought was, well, I can't believe it. This is where it ends, right here. You know, I'm gonna die right here in this stairway. And but like I said before, the anxiety and the fear that I had before the collapse disappeared. Like I was at peace with whatever was going to happen was going to happen. It's out of my hands, and here we are. Eventually, it did stop, and we're alive, but we were encased in debris. There was debris in our eyes, mouths, nose, any. We cleared it, taking pieces of sheetrock out of our mouths, and.
Total darkness at that point?
Total darkness. I had my flashlight, and I'm shining my light, and I could see, there's still a lot of dust and smoke in the stairway, and I could see one wall was just twisted steel. The other wall was a concrete block wall, and that was still intact. But the stairway was twisted, had holes in it, and it was rubble filled, but it was there. You could go up and down it. With effort, but you could do it. And but our first thought was, okay, let's dust ourselves off and continue down the stairs. And
were you surprised? Were you shocked? I mean, did you say, "Gee, I wonder, are we alive? Are we dead?"
Yeah. Well, initially, I did give out a roll call to see who we still had, and
the roll call.
Yeah.
You had just nearly been killed, and you had the presence of mind to give out a roll call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we had to see who we still had.
Sure.
Who was still alive, and I didn't know Josephine's name at the time, but so I just called her the woman. Is the woman still here? Yeah, Billy said, yeah, she's here. So okay. And we thought about, continuing down the stairs, and then Matt Kamarowski yelled up. He says, "No, you can't. Can't get out down here." So we started to, survive our entrapment. Right after this happened, we received a Mayday message that another friend of mine, a lieutenant, was trapped, and I tried to get to him, and we couldn't get to him because I couldn't move the debris anymore once I got to the 5th floor. And that was the first frustrating part of the day, that somebody was calling for our help and we couldn't do anything about it. I started giving out my own Mayday messages that we were trapped, and didn't take too long. And I got a response from Deputy Chief Tom Herring from the 6th Division, and then some of my closest friends started to respond to me. You know, that they're not only some of my closest friends, but they were some of the most competent people that I knew. My good friend John Salka, Nick Visconti, Cliff Stabner, Billy Blage. They all had,
What were they saying to you? What were they? Were they encouraging you? Were they?
well, they didn't know what I knew. They wanted to keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they were asking, are you okay? Where are you? You know, I'd say, North Tower, B stairway, 4th floor. Okay. And then Nick Visconti was the operations chief. I would talk to Nick a lot, and he said, all right, I'm not too sure how you got into the building. Well, I'm not too familiar with the building. Can you tell us how you got to the B stairway? I said, all right. Came in off of West Street, made a right, made your first left, and the B stairway's right there on the left. You can't miss it, you know. Keeping in mind we have no clue what it looks like outside.
It's just a pile of rubble at this point.
Oh, smoking, steaming rubble, yeah, with flames coming out, you know. So, and then, you know, he would get on the air and said, were you parked near ladder 110? I said, I don't know. There was a lot of red trucks around. Says they may have come after me. I don't know. But the reason why he asked that, he found that fire truck, and they were trying to get bearings.
Some bearings were right, sure.
Because guys who worked down there and lived down there for years would be in the middle of the pile, and they said, I don't know where I am. They were lost. So they were trying to get bearings. And at one point, Nick was talking to me. Somebody got on the radio and says, where's the North Tower? I looked at my radio. I says, this guy doesn't even know where the North Tower is. I said, we're in trouble. It's the big building on the corner. You know?
At least it used to be.
Yeah.
How long were you in the stairwell?
Little under 4 hours. One of my favorite conversations was with my friend Cliff Stabner, who, you know, he'd get on the radio and says, Rescue 3 to Captain J. Jonas, to Ladder 6, Captain J. Jonas. This is Cliff. I'm coming to get you. Where are you? And we'd have a conversation. And then he would end every conversation with, I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming for you. And it was almost like, geez, I'm not worthy of this. Yeah, we're banged up and we're hurt a little bit, but I'm sure there's somebody worse off than us. But there were no other Maydays getting out.
Yeah.
And we were it. You know, guys were coming in from home, coming in from the outer boroughs, and they were looking for something that they could do to make this better. And then my Maydays were getting out there all of a sudden. It's like, well, I don't know about anything else, but Ladder 6 is giving Maydays. We're going to rescue them. But then I see this ray of sunshine hit the stairway. And you could see like this pencil-thin beam of light, and it's peppered with dust and everything. And I look up and I see a little sliver of blue sky from where this thing came from. And what happened was that the smoke and dust had cleared to the point where this could finally make its way into the stairway. And I just looked up and I told the guys, I said, guys, there used to be 106 floors over our heads. Now I see blue sky. I said, we're on top of the World Trade Center. We weren't underneath, we were actually like in a mound. So it was a gradual decline. And he made contact with the guy, and it was a fireman from Ladder 43, led by Lieutenant Glenn Rowan. And they made their way to the stairway. By the time they got to the stairway, more than half the people were out. You know, they were saw them.
And how many people in total were with you there in the stairway?
There was a total of 14 people in the stairway. The landscape that was around us was
How
remarkable.
far up were you? You're still fourth floor?
Right. It's a lot of twisted steel, and it's coated with that dust, which makes this twisted steel slippery. And as we're crawling past number 6 World Trade Center, that's where the New York office for the Secret Service was. And fire had just reached their ammunition depot, and bullets were exploding as we're crawling past. And
It's in a war zone.
yeah, that's what it really seemed like. And so we're...
Were you still confident that you were going to get home that day? Even with
we
the
were
bullets
out.
exploding?
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, keep going. Just keep going. Eventually, West Street was a cliff. It was on an angle, but it was a cliff. and that they dropped ropes down to us to climb the ropes so we could make it to West Street. And one by one, I got to see my guys climb the rope, to the point where it was just me and my senior guy, Mike Meldrum. And Mike was banged up. Mike had a concussion. He had something going on with his back. And he was dehydrated, and he was tired. And he said, Cap, I can't do it. I can't climb the rope. I said, yes, you can, Mike. He says, I can't leave without you. He says, unless you go, I can't go. He said, I can't do it. I says, yes, you can. I said, your wife and kids are on the other side of the hill. You can climb the rope. And to his credit, he did. You know,
Wow.
He summoned up the strength and the courage, and he climbed the rope. I finally got out, and I saw my friend Cliff, and I gave him a hug and a kiss, and I went to the ambulance, and he called my wife and said, I just hugged and kissed your husband. I said, and she took that as like, okay, he's not brain damaged, he's he's walking along, not any more than usual. Anyway. So.
Well, I know before we got on camera, we talked about how 10 years has gone by, and it seems like it went by quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Any change in perspective? How's Jay Jonas different now than 10 years ago? What?
I try to keep things in perspective. I try to make sure my children are my top priority. That and for anybody else who hears this, you never get any instant replays. This train leaves the station only once every day, and if you miss an opportunity to love your family, then you've missed it, and you never get it back. And there's a lot of my friends who aren't around anymore. Their children don't have that gift, and my kids, they have the gift of me being alive, and I try to make sure that they reap that benefit every day.
Well, I think I know you don't think or necessarily would refer to what happened to you guys that day a miracle, and I understand why you feel that way. But I think the story is miraculous. Not to say that God wasn't with everybody that day, but certainly the fact that you and all the folks that were with you got out is just a wonderful thing. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're very busy. I know you're very sought after. So it's an honor for us to be able to meet with you and get a chance to hear this really incredible story of, I would say, courage and bravery and stamina and all the skill and expertise that you learned all these years, and firefighter, college, all seemed to pay off at the right times. And just for the record, we are in New York City, and you are a Yankee fan. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, well, you can't have everything. Chief, thank you very much.
Let's go Yankees.
God bless you.